And welcome to the Truist podcast, where we explore financial services together with an eye on technology, innovation, emerging models, and changing expectations. I'm Truist Editor-in-Chief, Zach Miller. And there seems to be a tension at the heart of modern banking that technology doesn't seem to totally resolve. How do you be both digitally excellent and deeply human at the same time? Most banks generally pick a lane, either betting on digital efficiency or doubling down on relationship banking. But consumers on their end aren't asking for one or the other. They want both. They want their banking app to work flawlessly when they need it, and they want someone who actually knows them when it matters. My guest today is Dontá Wilson, Truist Chief Consumer and Small Business Banking Officer. He leads 20,000 teammates serving clients through both digital channels and more than 1,900 community banking branches. His portfolio spans core deposits and loans to mortgage, auto, credit cards, and the full stack of consumer products. He also oversees Truist's multi-year growth plan that's reimagining both their digital experience and their physical branches using insights and AI. And we're going to talk today about how AI is redefining consumer expectations and trust, what it takes to innovate inside a highly regulated industry while keeping client purpose at the center, and what Dontá believes innovation without empathy is empty. Dontá, welcome to the Truist podcast today.
Hey, Zach, I'm so glad to join you. I've heard several of your podcasts. I feel fortunate. I finally have arrived. I'm on your podcast, so thank you for having me.
You finally arrived. Your whole career hasn't amounted to what's going to happen in the next 30 minutes. So I totally appreciate you coming. And these are topics that are really at the core of a lot of our podcasts. And so I'm excited to hear from you about your plans. And maybe we could start at like a high level, at a philosophy level. Like, we have a lot of guests on this podcast that talk about being both high tech and high touch. But most of the time they end up leaning one way or the other. It's hard to do both. And I'm kind of curious how you thread the needle at Truist.
Yeah, so at Truist, we're very focused on making sure that we are providing experiences that allow our clients to be digitally empowered, but still remain deeply relational. And we have a concept of technology plus touch equals a higher level of trust. And at that intersection is where we really, really win and perform exceptionally well. And so we're very focused on that. Our purpose is to inspire and build better lives in communities. And we're building better lives in communities. You have to meet them in the community engagement level or experience of their choice. And so if some want to go to the branch, so we want to be dynamic and have delightful experiences there. Some want to interact digitally. And so we want to make sure we're delightful and have engaging experiences there. And most of our clients end up using both channels. And so they like a multi-channel experience. Definitely.
And have you seen your clients, their expectations evolve over the recent history?
It's interesting to watch the evolution of it. So clients, depending on the generation, of course, the boomers preferred branch and they learned how to use digital, particularly when COVID happened. They got more digital active in all of their shopping experiences and then also their banking experience. And then you had Gen X come along and the millennial generation come along, and they were more digitally native. And so they preferred more of a multi-channel. And then you had the Gen Y come along and they preferred to be digitally native, but you find now that they want to also interact with the branches. And they want that sense of soundness, that safety, that confirmation and affirmation from a human when it gets into very complex or sensitive items that they are transacting on or purchasing. So that combination of digital and human experience, I think, will be here forever.
That makes sense. And I'd love to double click on this multi-year investment that you guys are making across both digital platforms and the branch network. What are the big moves you're making and how do they all fit together?
Yeah, so we're on a journey to provide the most distinctive experience for our clients. And in that, we have a couple of pillars. And so the first is we want to be digital first, but not digital only. And that really enables our connected channel strategy. But every experience that we think about, we start around with our clients and we start evaluating what they want to do and how they want to do it first digitally. And then once we build it digitally, we figure out how they can interact with our call centers and also interact with our branches. And so we're investing in dynamic digital experiences. We're investing in virtual experiences, which are call center oriented, and we're investing in branches. And some, Zach, may say, well, you're still investing in branches. I thought branches were going away. And you see the momentum of branches coming back, again, because of the client. And the client prefers a digital experience when they start to do a more complicated transaction. It may be a loan product. It may be more sophisticated investing. And so our branches that we're building, though, are not like your branches of the past. So our branches are insight-driven branches. And what I mean by that is that we prefer to have an experience that a human can have all the information possible to be able to serve every client when they come in the door. And so a client walks in to one of our branches, they sit down with one of our relationship bankers. We have the data that provides our banker information about that client. Maybe that client has excess savings or excess checking deposits, and we can provide them in higher yielding savings accounts. Maybe that client does not have one of our digital solutions, and we are able to talk to them based on that insight that we have, and we provide that script to that relationship banker so they can be more efficient and having a robust, complete conversation. Now, we also have insights to show up to our clients digitally every day. So we have Truist Insights, in which we provide 500 insights a year to clients. It may be insights on your balances are getting low and you have an incoming payment that's going to happen on the 15th. Do you want to transfer from your savings into your checking to cover that payment? It may be an insight that, hey, you ordered Netflix 90 days ago, that 90-day period has expired. Do you want to continue or discontinue Netflix? So the combination of those insights and insights in the branch are what we're developing and delivering for our client.
So I want to go back to the branch and this description about like the relationship banker being insight driven. Does that change? I'm curious if that impacts the type of people you're hiring in frontline employees within the branches. Is there retraining that goes on there to be more advisory, I guess? Like what's happening with the people on the ground?
Yes. So one of our principles is around advisory. So we believe that you have to have skilled, talented teammates that are fully capable and competent to deliver great advice. And this is really just accelerating the advice that they are able to provide. So you go back 20 years ago and you had someone that may have been in banking 15, 20 years. And over that time, they developed institutional knowledge, they developed product knowledge, and they had all of the skills and they were able to serve a client with great excellence. And then you have a junior teammate that would come and you would have apprenticeship and you have to teach that junior teammate all that 20 years worth of excellence and competency and knowledge that that senior teammate had. And so you had a slower ramp up to service potentially with that more junior teammate. Well, today, because we have insight driven branches, the senior teammate can be even more excellent and have more call velocity and have better call conversion. And that junior teammate doesn't have that ramp up to the learning experience because the insights are provided to them in near real time to be able to talk to that client when they come into the branch.
I'm just curious, this is a personal curiosity, but has the format of the branch physically changed with some of these insight-driven impacts?
Yes. So what you're seeing is the old traditional teller line where you used to have 10 tellers at a teller on the teller line has decreased. And the new branch formats, instead of being 10,000 square feet, they're 3,500 square feet or less, and you have more office that has open space. Then you have shared offices where you could take a client to have a more dynamic private conversation, but less teller lines. That enables that advisory to happen.
I want to get to AI now, and I just want to preface it that we haven't had a single guest on the show in the past 18 months where AI hasn't been a real focal point for the conversation. I don't know how long that's going to continue, but we're definitely still in the upswing. So, AI obviously is impacting the entire industry, and I'm curious what shifts you're seeing in how customers interact with you, what they expect, and what they trust you with in terms of their financial lives.
Yeah, AI is definitely an accelerant for the industry. And as you know, Zach, you've been around, technology and finances for a long time. AI is not new. The business use cases that are available are more enhanced. And so if you go back to, you have RPA, then you had machine learning and then generative AI and everybody talking about agentic AI. And so the expectation from clients are, I want to be able to have the best solutions that you can provide for me so that I can be empowered to be able to take care of my finances and go from not just having information, but actually having confidence and competency in a tool to help me navigate my financial experience. And so we're leveraging AI in a meaningful way. We've been doing that for a while. We have 16 use cases in consumer small business banking that's already active and being delivered to clients. And we have about 18 use cases that are in the pipeline. But we start from what do our clients need? What problems are we trying to solve? So it's not an AI strategy, it's a client strategy. So if you came and visit me, Zach, in my office, we would go down to our innovation center, which is a 120,000 square foot innovation center, right in the middle, in the heart of our headquarters intentionally. And every day we have clients coming in and we're co-creating experiences and testing and trying to figure out what they want, because we are founded on design thinking principles. So we try to have empathy and learn what their needs are. And then we look across the journey and every sub journey, and we say, all right, what can humans provide and what can technology provide, and what technology is needed to solve that sub journey item. And now, in many cases, AI is that technology solution combined with other solutions. So we're providing several experiences. I talked to you about Truist Insights, that we provide 500 million of those every year. Mm-hmm. We have Truist Assist, which is our bot. And so we provide 5 million transactions for clients in our mobile experience, where those transactions are inquiries to questions would have been handled in our call center or in our branch. And 80% of those experiences are solved within that mobile experience. And so they're empowered to get a faster question or transaction, and it also is cost efficient for us. And then we're doing things like underwriting. So we're in our Lightstream experience, which is our unsecured digital end-to-end platform. We're underwriting billions of dollars with AI, and AI is taking that automatic decisioning from 50% to 75%. So real solutions being offered to clients.
And I assume one of your other clients is also your internal staff. Are you using AI-powered or informed solutions to make your staff more knowledgeable, more productive?
Yes, a big part of the journey is providing staff with and we call them teammates, mm-hmm. providing our teammates the solutions so they can be more effective. So when you think about the co-pilot solution that we provide our teammates, they're able to do a lot of dynamic things. They're able to better look through information, query information. They're able to provide more quicker, efficient PowerPoints when they're doing presentations, or if they're putting a deal together, they're able to use a lot more dynamic tools to speed that up. And we're also offering solutions like in our call center, we have call summarization. So when clients call us, we used to have it where our teammates will, after the call, have to take some notes, mm-hmm. and then they track down or write down what they need to follow up on. And then we would also record the call, and then their coach would listen to the call and then provide them some development on how they can make the next call better. Well, today we're doing that within literally 2 to 3 seconds. Those notes are provided after that call, so that teammate has what those key follow-up items are. In addition, their coach is able to take a look at those key things that was discussed on that call and be able to give them feedback immediately. So we're saving lots of money with that, but also making our teammates a lot more productive because we have those type of AI solutions.
That makes a lot of sense. I want to come back to something you said, Dontá, about innovation and the Innovation Center. And clearly, banking is one of the most regulated industries out there. And so when you're trying to move fast and innovate, what constraints or considerations do you have to keep front and center, and how do you navigate that?
Yeah, so I'll always start, and you mentioned it earlier, so thank you for sharing that I have a personal belief that innovation without empathy is empty. Mm-hmm. And so your biggest constraint is making sure you understand what problem you're trying to solve, and making sure you're starting from the context of what are we going to make better for the companies or the people that we serve. And that's unlimited, because there's so many things that people need to have solved. And so having the time to sit down and go into one of the journey rooms and brainstorm and work with clients to solve the multiple problems that are existing is probably your biggest constraint, because you have a time constraint. Mm-hmm. And then you have resources, and you need to navigate those resources in a way that goes to the most immediate problems first and the largest problems that you can solve for people so that you can help them get to financial success. Outside of that, you have things like regulations that you have to operate in within a financial services company. And so we're working very offensively with our regulators to help them get educated and also learn how they're thinking about the regulatory environment, what would be governed, and how to have good governance so that you can enable the things that you ultimately want to enable for clients. So those are the two things: having enough time to get to all the problems that that exist, and then also being able to operate within a regulatory environment that will allow some of the things that are available in the technology industry.
Got it. I want to come also back to the human dimension, and as technology gets more powerful and capable, where does empathy fit into all this, and what's the risk when banks innovate without thinking about the human side?
Yeah, so innovation without empathy is empty. And what mm-hmm. happens is you lose the real connectivity to the soul and what people are ultimately trying to get to in financial services. So when you think about money, it's not that people want more money or they want an abundance of money. What they want from money is, what does it solve for?
Mm-hmm.
So it gives me safety and security, right? It provides housing. It provides food.
Options.
So you have all these needs,
Yeah.
these core needs that money enables. And so when you have empathy, you're really trying to figure out, of those real true core needs, what are they trying to solve? And then you build the innovation that enables that in a way that they can be able to solve those needs. And so removing the empathy and just thinking about the technology removes the emote and also the real thing that they're ultimately trying to solve when you think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, because you're just thinking about it from a technology perspective and a transaction. And clients are not interacting with you for a transaction. They're interacting to really have a better financial life, which is really about having a better overall life with shelter, security, and providing for their food needs.
I think you used the word trust before in one of your answers, and I think having that empathy is maybe one of the quickest ways to build trust, and maybe one of the deepest ways.
That's absolutely right. And when you think about technology like AI, what's going to be very important is you have to have explainability. So if you have a tool that can go in and make a recommendation for you, Zach, and you say, that's great, I got it within 2 seconds, but I really want to understand, why was that particular recommendation and solution made? So you need to be able to have explainability that will break down why and how they got there. That continues to allow trust to be established, because clients want to trust the technology, but they want to, more importantly, know what's behind the technology that led to that particular recommendation.
Dontá, you're working on a variety of different vectors. Obviously, you have a huge remit in your role. How do you begin to define success in what you're doing?
Yeah, success is very easy for us, and that is to inspire and build better lives in communities. And we track that by how many lives that we can actually make better. And so we have 14 million clients, and it's our job to make sure those clients are increasing their savings and their investments, making sure they have the right debt instrument at the right time so that we can provide them housing, provide their automobiles so they can travel to work or take their kids to school. And that's how we define it ultimately. Are we actually winning as it relates to providing more solutions to clients and making sure we're putting them in a better financial position? And that's founded on making sure they have a financial plan and they're achieving their goals. We write down their goals. We talk to them about their goals. We help them track their goals, but more importantly, we help them get to their goals very quickly.
Just a geeky question. Is there like a North Star KPI that you use, I guess internally, a single one that helps to bring all that together?
We use a couple of KPIs. When we look at voice of the client scores are super important for us, because your clients tell you every day if you're meeting their particular needs. So that's the primary driver. And then you have some of your economic, items. How many clients are you allowing or enabling from a digital transaction perspective? Because we know that clients want to be empowered. So we have 70% of our clients are using our digital tools to be able to solve their needs. How many clients are we opening accounts online? Because again, clients prefer to shop and buy initially, in most cases, online these days. And so we have 40% of our new to bank clients are coming from our online solution. So those are some key stats that we track: voice of the client, servicing percentage, and then account acquisition.
Given the different channels that you manage, I remember a few years ago there was a lot of talk on our podcast and in the industry about not only being multi-channel, but that kind of follow me through each channel, like that each channel has to be a standalone way that customers can engage with you as deeply as possible. It sounds to me from what you're saying that thinking has changed, where like you're thinking about the capabilities, the constraints, and the power of each channel and being able to offer them in a complementary way to your client base.
That's exactly right, Zach. So we talk about providing a connected channel strategy. So if you go back to our bot, Truist Assist, and we're one of the first ones to build our bot with this type of dynamic experience. So Zach, you'll sign into your mobile experience. You might query about a particular item that you're interested in or need more information. And if you don't get your answer, or if you're not satisfied with that, and that's about 20% of the time, because 80% of the time we're solving an experience, then you just push a button and it automatically goes to a human. That human picks up on that experience and on that conversation and is able to continue until we solve for you within that interaction. And so that's kind of the connected strategy opportunity. The same thing is if you're shopping online with us, which is it's our largest branch, right? Our online mechanism, and you get stuck in a transaction or application, you can call the branch, or you can go by the branch, or you can call one of our virtual call centers, and we can pick up from where you are in the application and can complete it for you. And so that connected strategy experience just gives you more optionality so that we can get you closer to your goal of what you were trying to achieve.
As we're getting near the end of our conversation, Dontá, I'm just curious, maybe we can zoom out a little bit and think about the future. I'm going to ask you to take out your crystal ball. And I'm just curious if there are things along this transformation journey that you're leading that were unexpected from where you began, certain things that, I don't know, looking back, were surprising.
I would say what was more interesting was how fast small business and commercial started to demand the same dynamic experiences that consumers needed and have. And that was really a result of COVID. Mm-hmm. And when you had the triple P, and within a week, we had to build a system that allowed loans to be transacted online for small businesses. Being able to do that in a week, by the way, and being one of only 2 banks in the country that were able to meet the deadline showed me the power of people. And when people have purpose and something greater than themselves, what they can step up and do. But it also showed us that clients in the commercial and small business side were willing to do more digital experiences and started to demand that. And so you see now that has really picked up in a big way. And we're able to offer both of those experiences, both to institutions and also to consumers.
And what gets you most juiced or energized about the opportunity ahead for you?
I'm really excited about having, the wonderful capabilities that are now available, having a great team that is led by purpose and starts with empathy to solve the needs of our clients that are highly dependent on us. And so we talked about AI. There's a lot of things that's going to happen with AI. So just as a view of where I believe the world is going. So when you think about agentic commerce, that's going to be interesting to be able to solve that for clients ultimately, where Zach will say, I want to go to New York and I want this type of hotel and I want to take this type of airline. Why don't you go out there and take care of all those arrangements and also paying for it, and I just show up and I enjoy the experience. Now that's going to be something that'll come in the future, and we look forward to building that for clients. That makes their lives a lot easier and they can focus on life versus on taking care of transactions. What's also interesting is what's going to happen with B2B. And when I say B2B, bot to bot. And so we have our bots that we're building, clients are building their bots. And when bots start to do banking with other bots, and that's when you start to really get interested, Zach, around what does that mean for redefining the client journey? Because real empathy could potentially be removed because you have 2 bots in each of those particular sub-journeys, be it marketing, be it acquisition, onlining, on-ramping them, servicing them, etc. So just really interested to try to figure out and solve for that. And then third is really around a real opportunity I think that we'll have in the next 7 years around hyper telepathic or hyper intuitive, when you put AI and quantum on top of each other. And then therefore we really know you a lot quicker and can help make recommendations that you really believe were your own thoughts or recommendations because they were, because we have that much data and we have that much speed and those type of solutions that can bring that forward for you. So I'm excited about exploring those possibilities, but not for the tech opportunity, but for like real problems we can help solve for clients.
Dontá, it's been great talking to you. Thanks for joining us on the Truist podcast today.
Yeah, thank you, Zach. I really enjoyed it. Take care.